Yeah, hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video I would like to look at the US E-minis, in particular how they unfolded yesterday, which was Tuesday the 18th of October, because it's a very good example of how to use the larger degree trend to help gauge your short-term 3 and 5 minute trend direction. So let's show you what I mean. First of all, let's go to the 15-minute charts and have a look at potential support and resistance areas. I'll just take that off the chart because we don't want that on there. Point being is that before the market gets there, we can place support and resistance areas on the chart in advance. And that's important because they're on there before the market gets there. Therefore, they're leading indicators. Let's look on the YM and how we do that. Literally, we do click on the decision point, choose swing high low, click on the prior pivot, which is down here. This is the last sort of major low. We can see we have a decision point area on the chart in advance. And what happened yesterday? Well, the market went down, down, hit this decision point level, gave us a blue buy bar, and then the market rallied very strongly for the rest of the day. But the point being is that this decision point was on the chart, in fact, before yesterday's trading even opened. So before the market even opened, you had an idea of a potential support zone, and as you can see, that support zone nailed the low of the day for you. Let's have a look on the Russell Index. Exactly the same. If I just take it off and I put it back on again, you can see how easy it is. Click. There's the last swing pivot low. We click on that. The decision point's on there, and again, it was on there on the chart before the market got there. That's the important point. So here we had the YM having a low at our decision point low, the Russell Index having a low at our decision point low, the ES, I'll just clear that my last analysis off, the ES wasn't quite there. However, if I look at where the low of this area here was, it was basically a double bottom. It was pretty much a double bottom in this area here. So although it wasn't at a decision point, 2 markets out of the 3 we've looked at so far were. We then go to the NQ, and I've just got my analysis on here, so I'll just take it off. But here you can see that the NQ came down and put in an automatic TS4 buy setup at the low of the day yesterday as well. So if I put the analysis on, you can see it was at the typical wave CWPT. So as this low was coming in yesterday, we knew in advance on the YM and the Russell Index where that support zone was going to be. We had a basic double bottom in the ES, and then we had a confirmed low as well on the NQ coming in at around the 10 o'clock zone yesterday. So can you see that all MTPredictor traders should have been prepared in advance, and then not only that, after 10 o'clock had unfolded yesterday and the market started to rally, you should have had confidence that the large degree trend had now turned up and we're now rallying off support on the 15-minute charts as you see here. And that's the point, is that you should recognize this change in trend very, very early, and that's the idea of having these leading indicators on, is it gives you first an anticipation of areas of where markets are going to make reversals, but also allows you to confirm that support or resistance is coming in at these areas very quickly indeed. So that means when we come down to the 3-minute chart, I'll just take this off, the 3-minute charts, when we have a situation like this is our 10 o'clock low, when we have a situation like on the NQ here where the market is rallying off, the STF here, as with any normal technical indicator, will always be slightly lagging. We had some automatic sell setups, but the advanced traders among you will have known that these TS1 sell setups, although they are with the STF, are actually against the 15-minute trend that's now rallying up. So therefore advanced traders can be very suspicious of these, or I won't say suspicious, very cautious of these, and either avoid them or treat them very, very carefully. But the point being is that because the large degree trend is up, you should now be very keen to take buy setups. Again, this is an automatic trade setup here on a black STF, so it's a standard trade setup, but all traders should have been very keen to take this because now long trades are in the direction of the large degree trend. So not only would you be keen to take this, but you also might want to try and run it a little bit further into higher targets, so therefore increasing what is already a very good 5.5 R profit up into something a lot higher. But let's have a look at some of the other markets. Again, same things with the Russell Index. You ought to be very careful of sell setups. Again, this one wouldn't be valid anyway because it's against a blue STF. The YM, exactly the same thing. Market rallying up, therefore you want to be careful of any sell setups. But the one I want to look at today is the ES. Okay, and the reason I want to do this is because when we have a market rallying off a larger degree support zone, which we've already ascertained on our 15-minute charts, the initial rally off that zone is a wave 1. The initial correction into our tier 3 setup is a wave 2. So although we have a standard and automatic trade setup here, whoops, if I get my mouse correct, on this bar here, because it's on a black STF, therefore all traders would take this. However, standard traders will be looking to come out of the first target because that's the standard trade management guidelines. Or what they'd do is come down to here, and when it hits the first target here, you'd look at the STF. In this case, the STF is actually strong, so standard traders would actually run this just a little bit further up into the ATR stop there, so it would have been a nice 3.9 hour profit. However, this is what we call the Holy Grail trade setup. Because this is a larger degree 15-minute support zone, the first rally up here is wave 1. The second the second move down into here, which is the first correction, which unfolds in ABC, is actually a wave 2. Therefore, we'd anticipate that we're going to get a wave 3 type rally. So what we do is, rather than look for our first target here, we actually look to our typical wave 3 WPT, which is this one here. You can see it says typical wave 3 WPT. So rather than coming in out of this first target, or even looking to manage the trade in around the first target, we actually assume that the market is going to get up to this typical wave 3 here, WPT. So really what we should have been looking for was at least a 10R trade. Yes, that's right. This profit here was actually 10 times the initial risk. So for an initial risk of approximately $330, ignoring commission and slippage, the profit would have been about $3,400. A very, very good trade indeed. And this is why the Holy Grail trade is so good. It's because we are coming off a larger degree support zone, which is our 15-minute charts. And at the beginning of this video, we saw how we ascertained the 15-minute support zone. We then assume the initial rally is wave 1. The initial correction is wave 2. We then look for the typical wave 3 WPTs for our targets, not our first ones. And because wave 3 is normally the strongest and longest swing in any Elliott wave sequence, this particular Holy Grail trade is my personal favourite, and it was actually why MTPredictor was designed in the first place, because it represents one of the best trades to get the largest profit, as you can see here, 10R, in relation to the smallest initial risk. So this is what I call my Holy Grail trade setup, and I think it's one of the best trades you can actually get, particularly when we actually combine it with the MTPredictor 15-minute analysis. So you knew that these were good support zones, therefore you knew as the market was rallying off these lows, you knew that you were looking for a wave 1, wave 2 correction, up into a wave 3. Absolutely brilliant trade. So this is a trade that you all should really be looking at, and that's why I call it the Holy Grail trade setup, because I think it's one of the best trades in the book.